Five Nights at Freddy's 3 is a very polarizing game in the community. In my opinion, it's pretty fun when you learn the mechanics in detail and start using your ears to determine Springtrap's location. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said about this game's max mode, Nightmare Aggressive Only, which is a highly RNG based max mode that is quite frustrating to pull off. In today's video, I'm going to go over the important mechanics of the game as well as the strategy I used to beat Nightmare Aggressive Only. At the end of the video, I'll also explain my thought process of my winning run in detail. Let's get into it. I'm going to assume you know all the basic mechanics of FNAF 3, such as the animatronics present in the game, audio lures, vents, and system failures. I won't explain those basics, but I will explain the AI and relevant game mechanics in detail, as they will be relevant to the strategy. If you want to skip to the strategy, there are chapters that you can easily skip to, or you can skip to the timestamp on screen. Most of this information came from Jerikai Games. The link to his video will be in the description. Springtrap is the only animatronic that can kill you in this game. In Nightmare mode, he has an AI level of 7. Springtrap has a move counter that increases every second. Normally this increments by 1, but with the aggressive cheat enabled, it increments by 2. If the counter is greater than the value determined by this formula, he will move. The aggressive value in this formula does not refer to the aggressive cheat, but it is instead a separate value. It is normally set to 0, but it can be set to 1 if a phantom jump scares you, a ventilation error occurs, you are idle for more than 10 seconds, or you are past 4 AM. The total turns value is the total turns that Springtrap has failed to move for. If this value gets to 5, a value of 1 is added to the action selected value, which ranges from 1 to 4. If Springtrap has a successful movement opportunity and the action selected value is 1, Springtrap will not move. If the action selected value is 2, he'll move backwards. If it is 3, he'll move forward. If it is 4, his movement depends on which camera he is in. If the camera has 3 paths, he'll move to the third option. If the camera has a vent, he'll move into the vent. However, he can't move into a vent before 1 AM. If he does move into a vent, he'll wait until his next successful movement opportunity. If the vent snare is closed, he'll exit the vent. If the vent snare is open, he'll move forward in the vent. He also has an attack phase that he enters when he gets to your window. This is stage 1 of the attack phase. He waits here until he rolls an action value of 3 or 4 during a successful movement opportunity. Then, the next time you look at the camera or move to the maintenance panel, he enters stage 2 where he runs across the window. After the running animation, he progresses to stage 3. In this stage, he'll move to cam 1 if he rolls an action value of 2, and if rolling a 3 or 4, he'll progress to stage 4 where he peeks through the door. In stage 4, he'll jump scare you if you open the maintenance panel, have the camera open for a collective second, or if a blackout occurs during a ventilation error. You can lure Springtrap using audio lures. When you use an audio lure, it has a 1 in 7 chance to fail. If it succeeds and the audio lure was close enough to Springtrap, Springtrap will go to that camera. In Nightmare mode, you only have 2 audio lures before getting an audio error. When he moves, he plays this sound. He plays this sound when he enters or exits a vent. If he successfully moves through an open vent, he'll play this sound. If Springtrap is in cams 5, 4, or 3, he'll play this danger sound. However, this sound also plays if Phantom Freddy is in your window, which makes it much harder to track Springtrap if Phantom Freddy is there. If he's in cam 2 or in his attack phase, he plays this louder, more intense danger sound. These sound effects are very important to the Nightmare Aggressive Only strategy. Phantom Balloon Boy has a spawn opportunity every 20 seconds, with a 70% chance of spawning on night 6 when an opportunity occurs. He is forcibly spawned at 3 AM. He appears on cameras 1, 7, 9, and 10. If you see him, you have 50 frames to either switch to a different camera or close the cameras before he jump scares you. Phantom Chica, Phantom Mangle, and Phantom Puppet work very similar to Phantom BB, except with different cameras they can spawn on and different times they are force spawned. Phantom Chica spawns on cam 7 and is forced to spawn at 5 AM. If you look at her for too long, she'll wait to jump scare you until you look towards the maintenance panel. Phantom Mangle spawns on cam 4 and is forced to spawn at 5 AM. If you look at him for too long, he'll appear in your window, causing a lot of noise and giving you an audio error. Phantom Puppet spawns on cam 8 and is forced to spawn at 5 AM. If you look at him for too long, he'll appear in your face and stop you from doing anything for 17 seconds and cause a ventilation error. This basically ends your run because there's no way recovering from 17 seconds of sitting idle. Phantom Freddy has a spawn opportunity every 60 seconds. If he spawns, he walks across the window. There is a timer that counts down while you're looking at him. On Nightmare mode, this timer starts at 150 frames. If the timer runs out, he ducks down and has a 50% chance of jump scaring you every second. He is forcibly spawned at 4 AM. Phantom Foxy has a spawn opportunity every time you open the camera. On Nightmare mode, he has a 1 in 10 chance to appear. If you look at him, he jump scares you. However, if you're careful, you can turn slowly, see him, and turn back around to avoid getting jump scared. Most phantoms cannot appear before 1 AM except for Foxy. I already explained that you have 2 audio lures before getting an audio error, but there are camera errors and ventilation errors as well. In Nightmare mode, you have 17 cumulative seconds of camera usage before getting a video error. Technically, audio and video errors run on a health system, but the details of that aren't relevant to actual gameplay. All you need to know is the 2 audio lures and 17 seconds of camera usage. Unlike in previous nights, you can't get natural ventilation errors in Nightmare mode, which means you can only get ventilation errors from being AFK or getting jump scared. When repairing a system, the game will repair 1 to 3 progress every second. When it reaches 10, the system is finished rebooting. This means that rebooting a system takes between 4 and 10 seconds. Rebooting all systems works the same way, but it increases the progress counter every 2 seconds instead of every second. If you want a more in-depth analysis of the mechanics of FNAF 3, I'll link a couple of videos in the description. With that though, we can move on to my strategy for Nightmare Aggressive only. Now that we've gone over the relevant mechanics, it's time to explain the strategy. This strategy is based on the strategy guide by Ambience, which is linked in the description. However, I'm very bad at dealing with phantoms, so my strategy is a simplified version of his. I start by simply letting Springtrap move around the building freely while closing whichever vent he's closest to until he gets to Cam 5. You don't need to worry about phantoms or about Springtrap entering vents until 1 AM. You can see that I keep rapidly flipping the camera on and off while I'm waiting for him to move. This is done to reduce the amount of time I spend on the camera so that I get less video errors. I also move my mouse up and down while I do this because Click Team has some weird double click detection that you need to avoid. When I get a video error, I try to lower him to Cam 8 before fixing it. Like I said before, I'm really bad at dealing with phantoms, so I tend to avoid phantom cameras as much as possible and just guess which vent he's closest to. This makes it a little less consistent, but this night is so RNG heavy already that it doesn't really make much of a difference. Once he enters Cam 5, we enter what I call the main loop. While it might seem counterintuitive to keep Springtrap near your office, it makes it very easy to track him here, and there's very little danger from phantoms as no phantoms appear in cams 2, 5, or 6. The main loop consists of 2 stages, the cam 5 to 6 stage and the cam 2 to 5 stage. You know when he's in cam 5 when you hear the danger sound. However, you also hear the danger sound if Phantom Freddy is there, which throws a wrench in your ability to track him. However, as long as you don't idle in the office, Freddy isn't much of a threat. When he's in cam 5, I try to lure him to cam 6. Upon a successful lure to cam 6, I reset audio. When he moves, he'll either move to cam 7 or 5. Since the danger sound plays when he's at cam 5, I know exactly where he is. If he moves to cam 7, I close the vent there. If he's in cam 5, I repeat the process. Make sure the vent at cam 5 is sealed during this stage of the loop. There is a chance he roams back to the upper half of the building. If he does this, I try to keep track of him until he makes his way back down to cams 5 or 6. He may also move to cam 2. You can tell when he's in cam 2 or at the window because it plays a louder danger sound. When he moves to cam 2, I immediately close the vent there and wait. Thus begins the second stage of the main loop. From cam 2, he can either move into the vent, cam 5, or to the window. If he moves to cam 5, I just wait for him to either move back to cam 2 or roam to other parts of the building. If he moves to other parts of the building, I go back to stage 1 of the loop. If he enters the vent in cam 5, I wait for him to go to the window and lure him into cam 2. If he moves from cam 2 into the vent, I take the time to reboot audio and, if I have time, video. If he moves to the window, I move him back to cam 2. After successfully moving him back to cam 2, I reset audio. Whenever he enters a sealed vent, I make sure to take that opportunity to reboot any systems that have failed, prioritizing audio over video. If he walks across the room, I just keep luring him to cam 1 while rebooting audio when necessary to stall him as much as possible. If he peeks through the door, I just stare at him until he kills me. If he runs behind my camera, I put down the camera and wait until he kills me. If it is close enough to the end of the night, you may be able to stall him for long enough to win. Like I said, I'm pretty bad at dealing with phantoms, so I tend to avoid looking at their cameras as much as possible. However, if I do enter a phantom camera, I immediately press the map toggle button twice to get rid of any phantom that might be there. Also, I'm gonna be honest, I've never once successfully avoided a Phantom Foxy attack. I just couldn't get myself to move slowly to the left for some reason. Even in my winning run, I got jump scared by Phantom Foxy. The nice thing is that each phantom can only jump scare you once per night, so if you struggle with him like I do, it's not the end of the world. It will cost you some good runs, but you'll still be able to beat it. With that, here's a montage of my runs. He's in a vent, I don't know what vent he's in. Well, now I just don't know where he's at in general. No! Yeah, okay. Well, that was that.
No, 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 no!
I have cameras again. It's been like 3 hours. There it is. Let's go. 4 stars, baby. Let's go. Just to show once again, insert the extras menu. There's only aggressive mode active. That took less than an hour, so now I don't know what to do. Now I'm going to go over my winning run and explain my thought process. If you don't care about the explanation, you can skip to the tier list using the chapters. Upon starting the night, I go into the camera and try to find Springtrap. I close the vent closest to him and continue to monitor his movement. I also got jump scared by Phantom Foxy. It happened very early on, so it wasn't super punishing. It also means I don't have to worry about him for the rest of the night. He moved into cam 5, so I lowered him into cam 6 and reset audio. I had to determine this by the camera static because I had a video error and Freddy was in the window. After this, I lost track of Springtrap and couldn't find him due to the video error. So I just waited until he moved back into cam 6 as evident by the camera static. I then rebooted the cameras. After this, I could tell that he was in cam 5 because the danger sound started playing. He then moved into cam 2, which you can hear due to the louder danger sound. So I closed the vent and entered stage 2 of the main loop. Now just do this loop. He's in cam 5. Cool story, bro. Now Freddy's here. I had no idea where Springtrap was and lost the ability to track him through the danger sound. I should have looked for him, but I decided not to. Since Springtrap moved to the window, I lowered him back to cam 2 and rebooted audio. Here, Springtrap moved into the vent. At this point, I should have rebooted video, but I got lazy. I probably should have taken that time to do literally anything else besides keep flipping the cameras. Now that it's 4 AM, he is more aggressive. Perfect. Here is what I was supposed to do when he entered the vent, which is reboot video. I have cameras again. It's been like 3 hours. Video isn't super important when he's in this loop. And there's the run. It was suboptimal, but that just goes to show how easy this max mode is. It's mostly RNG based. During this run, Springtrap also moved to the main loop very quickly, so there wasn't much wandering to show. As for my max modes tier list, I'm putting Nightmare Aggressive only in C tier. It's definitely harder than FNAF 1, but not by that much. RNG really carries this difficulty. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I will have the full unedited completion linked in the description. If you liked it, please like and subscribe as it'll really help me out. Let me know what max modes you'd want to see me do next, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.